Alrighty, y'all, what's going on? It's your man Quincy Whetstone, aka Q Stone, and welcome to another episode of the BeatStreet Podcast, man. And y'all make sure y'all share, y'all like, y'all let everybody know this is going down because I need y'all to keep this thing going. So today I'm doing something a little different for the show, a little different guest, a little different style of guest. I got my man BJ O'Neal.
What's going down?
Yeah, who is a relationship coach.
Okay, so I'm new to the BeatStreet.
Yes, you're new to the BeatStreet.
Okay.
Oh man, my phone, I didn't cut out my ringer. It's all right. Yes, man, you are new to the BeatStreet, and so you are a relationship coach.
Yes, sir.
So all right, we're gonna get into that, man. So I met BJ in the poetry scene arena.
Yeah.
Man, probably about 8 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, it's
it was
been a minute, maybe
about
even 10.
2015, 16, something like that, maybe 17 up in there.
Yeah.
And the years have passed by, man.
Hey, man, we age well, though,
Yeah.
right?
People like, man, it's been 10 years. I met some of these people, man, and it was new then. But I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I met a whole nother group of people 10 years ago that I know now, man, and that's kind of cool, man.
Absolutely.
What you been up to, man?
Hey, man, well, July makes 13 years married, man, 2 children.
Yeah.
So that's been a journey in itself. Kind of faded from the poetry scene just a little bit. You know, I still write. At the end of the day, I guess you could say my other vocation is I'm a social and emotional learning specialist for school districts. So it kind of connects pretty intimately with the idea of relationship, understanding, you know, human behavior and how to be self-aware and how that helps us interact with each other. So you can kind of see how they kind of parallel in material and so forth. So, man, just keeping my head down, man, and enjoying life every day, man. That's what I do.
Man. So how long you been married?
Like I said, July would be 13 years.
13 in the game, man. We'll be 3 in May.
Congrats,
we'll be 3, man.
Yeah.
So
That's what's up. How y'all feeling?
Good, man.
That's what's up.
Yeah, we rolling, man. We rolling, getting better, still learning some things, you know, about each other. Just kind of, you know, smaller things, but those are details that kind of, you know.
Yeah. I don't want to just jump in with advice. It's kind of just second nature and stuff, man. But we're gonna always be learning, man.
Yeah.
I think that's the healthy expectation to have, you know. So be learning at 30 years married, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. So as a relationship coach, what just tell me what you do. Like,
all right. So that's where I can put it, man. From experience, I learned to get out of my own way for my own desires in our marriage, you know, where we at 3 years, man, we were fighting from recovery from the first 2, you know what I'm saying? So with that in mind, knowing I had all the best intentions, believing she had all the best intentions when we got married, but seeing us really struggle, you know, and I started out the gate complaining about what I wasn't getting, you know, and man, just it was an humbling experience. But when I focused on myself and my opportunities and my perspectives on life, I saw, without necessarily having, I guess you could say, adequate eyes to see what she was or was not doing. When I focused on myself, I saw our marriage begin to evolve. I saw myself beginning to evolve, and in doing that, 10 years from that point, I've seen myself become such a better person in and of myself, and that reflects how I'm able to be a better husband as well, and see us not only survive those times, but you know, overcome some mountains and things. So you know, so for me as a relationship coach, I take that same strategy. A lot of times we come in, we want the situation to change much more than we want ourselves to change, and the reality is we got to look inwardly first. And so it's not hey, you not right. It's like, we can be better. And so I come with that approach. Like, what are your real goals? I get you have feelings. All of those things are valid, but what are your goals? And if we could focus on those and actually talk practically about how we are actually contributing to those goals or not, you know, it gives a fresher perspective. Because it's like, why do I expect to arrive? It's like, I'm not really working out, but I want to look like, you know, Dwayne Johnson. You know what I'm saying? It's like, let's be real. You're not working out like Dwayne Johnson. It's great to have that desire, but are you really doing the work to produce that?
Yeah.
Have you done that work? If not, why you mad when you look in the mirror and you don't look like Dwayne Johnson? So same with our relationships. Like, are we really doing that work? And if we are, how can we tweak it a little bit so we become more effective? So that's kind of my approach.
When he said something, you said you was looking at what she wasn't doing, because I be feeling like, because I don't. When my wife asks me if there's anything else that she can do, I be like, no. Yeah. And that's how I feel. But is that normal?
I mean, like, just anything else I can do as a wife? She's asked that question.
Yes, yes.
God bless you, man. God bless you. That she's never had the heart to ask that, you know.
But am I? Because I've heard other people, say I want more, but I don't know if it just is because I'm just simple, or I'm just kind of.
I mean, you may not have the same struggles that some of other people have. The thing is, it's really natural to want more, Okay. So not something's wrong with you. I think it's a blessing to be content, and but a lot of times it's once you get $50, you want 500, and once you get 500, you want 5,000.
Yeah.
And it's so maybe she is taking care of as soon as you get home you have the greeting, but now maybe you also want instead of the regular dinner, you want something special, a special dinner. So it's easy to desire more, and so no one's wrong for that. But you have the blessing, and she has the blessing that you are content, and anything else is just added favor, added blessing. So I would say keep that mentality. At the end of the day, you're not that keeps you guys healthy. It's good to be like, man, no, she does. She does some amazing things. There's always room to do more, and so don't get content and comfortable, in yourself. Like she may be saying, I don't want more from you, but you have the heart to say, but I want to give more. You can always desire to give more. The problem is when we're always desiring to receive more. We never can, we're never satisfied.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So some people say, because you got a lot of relationship coaches out here, and some people, they have been exposed to not being all what they say they were going to be, or just like, hey, we are, or it can be like, hey, we know stuff, but we still have problems too. You can look at it like that too.
Right.
So like, somebody asked you like, what makes you so special? What makes you,
man? Look, because what you see is what you get. I'll say this, I'm not the one to just air out our laundry for the sake of it, but I'm not here because we did it so well.
Yeah.
I represent the people who struggled hard, and if people didn't surround us, we wouldn't be here today. That's you want to go back and look, you're gonna see some dust, some dirt, some mud, all of that kind of stuff. But for me, I get to stand up and say, but look, we made it.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. Is like, there's so much material out there that tells you, hey, if it ain't working, if it's struggling, they ain't the one. Run, right? Red flag. And we had all kind of red flags. But unto God, unto being intentional, like, my message is you can make it too. It's like the person that's working out, and the fit, you got one fitness person, they've been fit their whole life, and you just like, man, you just got the head start. But you see this person that was like 400 pounds, and now they're conditioning people. It's like, well, man, this dude can drop the weight. Surely he can show me how to drop the weight. Yeah. And I'm like, man, if we can work through our issues, surely I can help you work through your issues.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
That's cool.
I'm that person.
Yeah, because that's cool, man. Because like I don't know all of them, but a lot of them act like, or put on the front as if everything is perfect with them and everything, or they just the best person in the world. They got all that they do. They treat their wife like the best thing in the world. But
man. I'm a student. I'm a teacher, but I'm forever a student at the same time, man. I hope the version of myself 10 years from now will have greater wisdom than the guy sitting here today. You know what I'm saying?
So when you're talking to people, what are the most What are the most popular issues with marriages? And
man, ultimately, communication is a great killer, and because everything starts with communication, like even having a perspective on a single issue. So if the communication isn't there, or it's already perverted or stained, and I talk about that in a little bit, even small problems become greater problems. And so when I say staying perverted, it's like if I already have the bias that I'm coming in having to defend myself against my wife, I'm not working on a resolution with her. I'm defending myself. And so that means I'm attacking what she's saying. And so a lot of times, just even our problem solving skills is really the bigger issue than whatever problem we're facing. Because if I could, and also in that, learning how to effectively communicate, but that means I have to dig deeper.
Yeah.
See, I can easily feel that I'm upset and express it, but can I really articulate why?
Yeah,
or do I just understand how to attack what people are saying? Or can I say, this really, you didn't really let me know you were gonna go today, and I felt like maybe I wasn't included, and that made me process that maybe you don't think I got things going, and I start smelling myself at it, like to really articulate this, and I just need to know that I'm considered before you make plans, versus saying, oh, you think you out here, you single and stuff that. No, we gotta. So we attack based off how we feel versus articulate the depthness of what we concluded. So just in that communication, you really never even get to the root of the problem because you're just surface level expressing feelings. Yeah. And I feel like because of that, any small problem erupts into a mountain in most relationships.
You know what? And that's because I get upset at myself when I let that happen. When I be like, I could have been chill right there. Why did I do that?
Yeah.
Because like seconds later, I'll be like, dang, why did that feeling come in and you respond?
Right.
And I'll be like, God dog it. And now it's going on for a little while because, then after a while, I'll be like, all right, I'm cool. Let me say, let me say. But I'll be like, man, why didn't I just stop? Because sometimes it comes so fast at you.
Right.
And next thing you know, you done said something like, oh, man, I done got caught up.
Absolutely. Like I said, it's normal. Like you said, you asked what was coming. This is normal, unfortunately, for us. We have to be very intentional and say, let me take a breath. Also, not trust our own thoughts all the time, man. Even the Bible says, take every thought captive. And I use a lot of spiritual guidance and make it practical. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, but this is why. Just because it's a thought doesn't mean it's an accurate thought. It's a correct thought, that it has all the information. And so I'm like, man, I'm feeling this way, but let me get evidence. Let me not just jump to conclusions because I'm ready to believe this. Mm-hmm. And so that's, again, I say we lack relationship skills. A lot of us have all the great feelings for someone else. We don't have the skill set. It's kind of like, man, I could love a certain kind of car, right?
Yeah.
I genuinely am excited about this car, but it doesn't mean I have any mechanic skills to take care of it, to really understand the intricacies of how it works. And so we care about each other, we do, but we have to also make sure we're intentional about building these skills. And it starts, like I said, with communication. So
I guess this is one of the problems I have. Okay. I've been told I have by someone who I'm married to.
Okay.
So I don't, because I was single for a long time. I got married later on after I was just later,
right.
So I was ready. I knew I was, so I don't say a lot of things. I don't mention a lot of things, like smaller things, like, because I get accused of, oh, you didn't tell me that. But to me, it's just like, well, okay, like just say, for example, somebody was in the studio today. Okay. And it could have been somebody that maybe she knew when she met. Okay. Then like a week later, I said, yeah, they was in the studio. Oh, you ain't tell me they was in the studio? You don't ever tell me nothing. Okay. Or you ain't tell me they was coming. So it's like, it's small things that I just don't say. Right. So I deal with that a lot. Or just even what I did, it's like, what can I explain, man? I can explain some things. It's just normal day-to-day things that I may do that I don't share. Okay. So what do you think about like telling everything? I'm not a tell everything person, and not because I'm trying to hide anything. I just don't think I need to. I just don't think it. Yeah,
right. So here. So let's do this. All right. So building intimacy is about sharing at the end of the day. We understand it physically, right? We're married, we share our bodies, we give it away. And so now you could be very surface level with sex, right? It is what it is. But then you understand even physically, you could do more by slowing down, and maybe there's a kiss, maybe there's a hug, maybe there's just rubbing on the head or something like that. And so now you're going into the details of your physical intimacy, the details of your life or your intimate moments. It's really not the big, bold things that everybody knows how to do. It's those simple details that says, man, you sharing with me everything. And so the perspective is, it may not matter to you, but understanding matters to her. This is the detail of your life. You know what I'm saying? Every day, that little simple thing. Like, even if it's like, man, I stepped over what I thought was a 4-leaf clover and found out it wasn't. Really? Yeah, I don't know. It was just crazy. It's intimate, right? Because who else gets to know? Yeah. You know, so you're really sharing. So if you look at it from that perspective, again, yeah, it seems insignificant, but the more you live, you realize it's the simple things that have greater value. And when we value them things, we really make our relationships richer.
Already, man. Okay, yeah, cool, man. Yeah, okay. I'm trying to think of some other things, man. I kind of I guess what is it always harder for men, or do women have some issues too to just open up about how they feel? Is that like one of the biggest things, change how you really feel?
Man, I'll say this. I won't say men have it harder or women have it harder, but we both struggle at it, and possibly for different reasons. You know, and I hate to speak in stereotypes or generics, but you know, we can't have a conversation without doing that. Right. So generally speaking, for men, you know, we grow up being able to voice how you feel was never really like exercise that you was invited to do. Yeah. Right. You know, it was more tasks. Did you get it done? Did you not? You know what I'm saying? Those particular things, but not even how you feel about anything. And obviously, to make sure that we were strong, a lot of us, this idea of strength was associated with not being dictated by emotions. And so instead of learning how to be strong by processing our emotions, we got strong by ignoring them. And so we have a difficulty articulating that because we weren't asked as often. You see what I'm saying? Now, that has an effect on women when we in the relationship, because now it's not safe to articulate how you feel because we don't understand feelings. Yeah. And so we will have a tendency to make them feel shame for feeling anything because we lack understanding of that, or the idea of recognizing it. They're being weak, they're being soft versus articulating how they feel. And when anyone, man or female, it doesn't feel safe articulating their feelings, that's where the struggle starts. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So I that was one of the things for me and my wife. Like, I was kind of militant early on. Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, like, how you feeling? You know, you ain't got a business feeling that way, girl. Come on, get some confidence. You got it. And we think we encouraging, right? Okay. But where was the safe space to express feeling? Have a vulnerable moment, you know, at the end of the day. So we struggle for two different reasons, but they kind of come back, kind of both come back to the guy, you know, but not attacking us, but it's a real thing. And so when I start becoming more intimate and getting an intimate understanding of my own feelings and started articulating them, and also just reading books and things of that nature, like empathy goes far, man. You know, just to be present and say, you know, you're allowed to feel however you feel right now as a human, and offering that safe space is getting better, you know, but still have to make up for all the time beforehand where, you know, was kind of unkind to those feelings. Yeah.
So is that what they teach the younger generation a little more now? Because I hear from the music now, a lot of the rappers, they share their emotions in their music a lot more.
Yeah. I think it's you know, especially coming from our generation and so forth, I think there's a misunderstanding too. We don't want to know more than we wanted to coddle our feelings. We're not coddling feelings. We're learning how to manage them. And, you know, it's like the answer and key is never in suppressing them. It's talk about them. Now, do your due diligence now in how you feel, in what those emotions are, You got to figure out what their roots are, the case may be, find some healing for them where needed, see if they actually or merit it. So don't live in your emotions, but recognize them, feel them, get to the root of them, and then and that's how you can navigate through it. But you gotta acknowledge it. And so, yeah, it's a beautiful thing that, the younger generation are able to articulate how they're feeling, and we shouldn't take that away from anybody. We should actually learn from that. Yeah.
Right on, man. Yeah. So what do you say? Because I don't think we had this problem right now. Maybe because we just 3 years, but I think we took some classes before. We went to some this thing called Saving Your Marriage Before It Begins.
Oh yeah. We did that.
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah. The books. Yeah.
And that was very helpful.
Yeah,
that was very helpful. It allowed us to just start conversations that we probably wouldn't have started.
Right.
And one of the things I remember them saying that every day is not going to be exciting. I think that's what some people have the misunderstanding about marriage.
Right.
So what do you say about that? Like, it's some days that y'all just may be sitting there all day and don't say nothing, but it's okay.
Absolutely. I'll give you this. Who's your favorite comedian?
Oh man, it used to be. Oh, I don't know, man. You got me. I used to like Eddie Murphy, but then I liked Sinbad.
Okay.
I like my dude Eddie Griffin for a while.
Okay.
So I kind of jumped.
Okay, let's go.
Around.
Let's go with any one of them. Imagine now, y'all brothers. You and Eddie. Let's say Eddie Griffin. You guys are brothers. Imagine you expecting him to put on a whole comedy show every day.
Yeah.
Eventually, it just wouldn't be funny. At the end of the day, if his goal was he has the gift to entertain, right? But to do that every day, it's almost like you will become numb to it. It'll be normalized. And so just like, we appreciate the sun because we also have the night, is like, if you expect every day to be golden, the golden days won't be golden anymore. Yeah. At the end of the day, someday, and so you need some kind of days to be like, okay, today was like, we was on something else. I get it, so you can appreciate that. And the other part is it teaches temperament. Like, if we need to be stimulated, that's why I think a lot of relationships start souring, because it becomes that drug. It's no longer a relationship, it's a drug. I need you to stimulate me every day. And without that stimulation, I automatically start going into withdrawal. Yeah. And so, there's going to be some simple days. And that takes the without the feeling, the confidence, the true trust that you're okay on that day where y'all aren't interacting with each other.
Yeah.
If you go into worry at that moment, then again, that's an internal thought that we have to check, and get to the root of why that is, because she can't entertain you every day, bro.
Yeah,
she ain't gonna come in with the lingerie every day. Yeah. Hey, baby, it's day 23. I'm going straight with this lingerie. Save the lingerie for a special day. Today it's okay. You got your jogging pants on.
Yeah, man. So you first, what if you had one in your relationship, what the number one struggle that you've had, or if it is one, I mean, but one that you made, like, okay, this was one of the biggest struggles early on or during my marriage?
I think feeling celebrated as a guy. We came into the relationship, man, I was just starting to kind of get my wings as a guy, really overcome some intimidation, going after things, doing the poetry, doing some acting, things I had told myself, wasn't good at or something, and so I'm coming into this one finally encouraged to kind of do some of these things, and at the same time I was becoming a husband. So on her end, it's priorities, right? On my end, it's like, man, you met me in the bloom of my artistic nature, and you're in so I'm seeing it as a war. And man, I said something I probably live to regret for the rest of my life, man, because in that conversation on how to balance it or not being supported, I said, man, these things are me. This poetry, this acting, like that's me in my heart. And if I gotta choose you or these things, I gotta choose these things.
Yeah, 'cause you in it. Yeah.
Like I said, I am not here because I've been this great husband my whole life.
Yeah.
And so, but at the root of it, man, I wasn't really encouraged to do these things as a child. And so I'm looking at her to celebrate me the way I wanted my parents to do, or that I wanted my friends to do in my childhood. There's this youth crying out to be seen. And in the moment where I'm now doing it, it was like instead of looking at how to do it better or with better balance, I'm looking at you as you're attacking. You're not even approving or accepting these things or encouraging me to do it. So, yeah, man, that caused a big wedge, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you, how much do you believe in the love languages? Is that,
yeah. All right. So, Chapman, right? Gary Chapman.
Okay.
The love languages. Yeah. I believe in them. I think I have a caveat for it. Okay. So, it's good to understand his whole point was to understand the language that another person receives in love. The abuse could be, and so it's not on him. I want to preface that nothing's wrong with the information, nothing's wrong with the book, but to go deeper, it says that God will not be mocked. He who sows for selfish reasons will reap damnation, but he who sows for the Spirit will in due season reap a harvest. And so I may learn your love language, but I also have to learn love, genuine love, at the end of the day. And so maybe her gifts, her love language is gifts. So you're willing to buy stuff, thing to you, but you're buying things so that you can have things from her. Get my drift.
Yeah.
And so the heart at which you're communicating isn't pure. So don't expect to reap the same thing as someone who get like, oh, I'll give you the world, baby. Like, I just genuinely, this is my heart for you. Like, it's a joy to me to see your face light up when I bring this home to you.
Yeah.
Or same thing, quality time. All right, Netflix, and because I want to chill.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. So it's like it's a great reference to understand that we just receive love naturally different. That was his point. And if you if you're frustrated because you're trying to articulate love and the messages are getting clear, if you're speaking, Mandarin, learn to speak Spanish. And so, because she speaks Spanish. So it has all the value that is intended to have. I just want to make sure that we know that we can't abuse love language. You can't just,
now that I know, I'm going to just
do this. And I want to, because again, it says in due season, because it's going to try you. It's going to test you. At the end of the day. So if you doing this because you want the fruit of feeling like you're a good husband, or you want the fruit of now receiving from her, you're going to remember those days you was talking about, normal days. Yeah. You're going to give the gift. Oh, this was nice. And you may not get the physical touch that you was aiming for your love language, right? Because again, was your heart to really communicate love, or just create a setup so you can receive it the way you want? You will be tested. That's the caveat.
Right on, man. Because I think after I got older and started learning those things, because I didn't learn about those things till later on, late. But past relationships, I realized that was part of it. Yeah. And nobody ever said anything, because I think when we don't know those things, we end up giving the things that we think is love. Yeah. And then the other person, because I had a relationship where she just didn't believe I loved it. I'm like, but because I wasn't showing her the way she thought she would, but I didn't know. Right. Absolutely. I was just doing the things that I think that. Right. That'll make you feel again.
As he said, we tend to speak in the language we readily receive. So if you are quality time, man, I'm trying to hang out with you all the time, and I'm like, you just all up under me. I'm like, no, girl, I love you. Yeah. Because she's not a quality time. She's a words of affirmation. So absolutely, like I said, the material is very merited. I think even if you the book itself, as he did his studies and so forth and work with those people, it's a common frustration, in a lot of relationships where we are trying to communicate it. And again, because we don't understand those things. And that's why it says it's a relationship skill, right? Skill means we acquire knowledge, information, and we act differently because of the information we have. And so like I said, if we don't have that information, we can't change the skill of communicating love. So,
man, we live in different times, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day, we had to go to the club. We had to go out. We had to go somewhere where we can see things to get our attention. Now it's on the phone.
Yeah.
It's you scrolling.
Yeah.
You gotta keep scrolling.
Right.
And then so now, unless you go in there and just change your filters and everything, if you don't do all of that,
right,
you're gonna see things without somebody you don't even know.
Right.
Like, hold on with it. Next thing so I know that's a problem in the world right now with people in relationships. Maybe that's why it's harder for people to actually get into relationships, because it's so much. I'm not sure, because what am I gonna see next?
Right.
So if I commit to this, I might see something tomorrow that I'm gonna miss out on.
Right.
So what's your take on all that?
Well, again, can't deny the challenge of it. At the end of the day, I think it's important to define relationship, though. If you're just trying to be stimulated, again, a relationship won't do you justice, because we just talked about that even back then, if you just want the stimuli, the drug, you'll never get enough. You need more and more dopamine, and so a relationship can't compete with a drug, in a sense. And so social media, whether it's you getting likes or you seeing stuff you like, whatever, all the time, and but there's no connection there. There's no real connection. At the end of the day, you lose your job, you lose a relative or something like that, or you get promotions and things of that nature. They may like, but they're not really genuinely walking through anything with you. And so that's where we have to be intentional about perspective. Like, I trust my wife. I can lean on my wife. She's present with me when days are just absolutely normal. And so if that's what you want, you got to not give in to the substitute. At the end of the day, you got to merit what's merited in a relationship, because social media can't give you that at the end of the day. And you got to be wise enough to know that. It's like same thing with like drug. Man, yeah, if I smoke this, I'll feel good. But if I'm doing it to get away from the problem's waiting on me the moment the high comes down, right?
Yeah.
So I got to have a healthy perspective that this ain't really solving any problem for me, So where can I go to have my problem solved? So if I'm saying, where can I go to have real connection? That's a relationship. Where can I go to try to be stimulated every day? And I'm gonna open up my phone and I'm gonna scroll, and my life stops once and I gotta get back to reality at the end of the day. So and just reality. He doesn't know you. He's in your DMs. Well, he's probably in others' DMs. So you feel special, but not exclusive. No, just be real. You know what I'm saying? And you see her, you come in, guess what? 1,000 other guys probably come in on her person said post, and she probably said thank you, baby, to him too. So don't feel so special.
Good morning, beautiful.
Good morning. And she's like heart. She like and she heart another guy. You know what I'm saying? So it's that's not relationship. But if you want the stimulation, albeit stay on the phone.
Yeah. Right on, man. Right on. What's your take on people the term opposites attract?
Yeah, I mean, it's not impossible. I mean, I'm nothing like my wife. If I had to speak to experience, we are opposites by just almost everything. Like, I'm including personality tests, introvert, extrovert, all these particular things. So and I'm obviously very attracted to her. So I think it has some merit. I think in our practical sense, it helps us see who we're not, and maybe that's the allure to it, and to be able to understand the other side of the world, or another side of life itself. But I've also seen people get together and they pretty much two peas in the pod too. You've heard that term. So I don't think relationships in itself is cookie cut. It's more as I keep it simple. It's just, you're gonna like who you like, and you make connections through experiences and through conversation. So you may find that you got together because you had a lot in common, or you got together because you were just intrigued because this person was not like you at all. It's personal taste at that at the end of the day. So
because I think, and I think, like I said, I don't know expert, but I think it's more of not the things. The opposite things. It's kind of like the direction.
Yeah.
Like, we may be different personalities, different thing, but I think the opposite thing, well, because there's been like a little, like a debate online I see every now and then.
Right.
No, I was on the track, or I was, we will do it.
Right.
But I think it's more of where are we pulling, where are we heading,
Right.
that thing. Like,
Yeah.
if we're pulling two different ways, then
Right.
that's kind of like, it's going opposite, But if we different personalities and things, but we start to develop the same goal, we have the same ultimate goal,
Right.
And that's to succeed,
Right.
In this.
And the other part of that is the blessing in being not alike, opposites and things of that nature. Again, it gives you an opportunity to really think outside of yourself and see life outside yourself. Again, because we talk, and it really grows you. The other part is, if we think alike, then we're limited in how we see the world and how we see issues, and we all have deficits as much as we have qualities. And so I need my wife to have qualities where I have deficits, and my qualities are honored where she has deficits. So there's that deeper appreciation, and all that idea of being independent, and no relationship doesn't complete you in as far as define you, that you have value all by yourself, but it does complete, because just at the end of the day, when we come together, we have more together than we have apart. That's called synergy.
Yeah.
So your $10 is, give an example, $10 and my $10 by itself is 20 collectively, right? You got 10, I got 10, but what synergy says, we bring our $10 together, some kind of way it was worth 100. And so it multiplies our skill sets when we do them together, because we bring we have more advantages than disadvantages if we learn to utilize them together and not use them in conflict. So it's a blessing to have, he always want to rush in, she's always trying to think things through. Sometimes you need to push to get started. Sometimes you need to see the details. And so, but we both detail people, we never get anything started.
Right.
But we both get stuff started, we're running into everything and running into walls.
Yeah.
We need those differences in our relationship.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool right there, man. It's cool, man. So what kept you 13 years?
13 years, yeah.
What how you got there?
That's a good question. At a point, because we've been separated for 2 years, man. Like, so when I say I'm not sitting here because life was just been brandy, and I have resolve in my, and like, so I've matured so much in those 13 years. And honestly, just in the moment where it looked like maybe we weren't going to be together, I made a commitment that I said I do. I chose her, and that if it was gonna fail, it was gonna fail at me giving my best, not at me being weak and bowing out. Yeah. And so I've quit it before. I wrote. It's crazy. In that 2 years that we separated, I actually wrote a book on relationships, oddly enough. But it didn't mean become a book. Yeah. I was journaling, and the idea was like, you say love conquers all things. It's this amazing thing. How we hear this, I know I love this woman, and like I said, I realized I lacked the discipline. I lacked the skill. And so I was like, I'm going to work on this relentlessly, regardless of what she is or is not doing in this season. And so, in that, again, I learned a lot, and I just got this conviction. So how I got here, like I said, was focusing on what I had control over, and that was me, what I was doing. And so, I thank God that whatever was going on her side went on, whatever needed to happen, because I had no control, and separation, I got no eyes on it either. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's what got me through. So getting through all those things, I understand we can get through more, we can conquer more, and not just the bad things. That means we can build more, like what, like they say, sky's the limit in the sense, it's like really there's nothing, when you're committed to doing it, you can do it. And so that's what I have the conviction in. It's not always easy. Just because we got through it didn't mean like, all the pain went away. But as a man, I can say with great confidence that, man, she's worth all my fight. Yeah. And so that's what I am. So it's like, if you with a trainer, right, the 100 pounds is going to always be the 100 pounds, the 150, whatever you left. it's gonna always weigh the same. You become stronger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You don't need to never stop lifting weights,
Yeah.
but you learn how to manage the weight. And so I believe I have a healthier way to manage the weight, and I'm getting stronger because of the resistance and not becoming weaker. So as long as I have that mentality, yeah, I believe I can continue to become a stronger husband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. That's cool. I forgot my question. Listening to you, man. I was listening to you. Oh yeah, man. So no one of the question was a statement. So and you don't want this to happen. And this ain't like the recipe, but you hear a lot like older couples who've been married for 30 years or something, and maybe they son, once you like the parents open up as you get older.
Right.
And then they thought they parents had it good all these 30 years, and they find out, me and your dad, we separated for a couple years back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So that's like, I'm not saying that has to happen, but it happens a lot more than you think for couples who've been married for their whole life.
Right.
So, yeah.
I mean, like I said, it was 13. Like, so if I had to tell my daughter, what she was like, for real? And he's like, yeah, you probably don't remember it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, baby, it happened.
It happened, man. So that's man, it's cause they hard, man, because it's like you have to be prepared. I say, are you ready? That's where that are you ready thing come in, because you're not ready to feel that feeling,
right?
And know and respond correctly to it. I think that's the ready, man, because you get them feelings. It's just even like in past relationships where you just got out. It's that feeling you had. I'm gone.
Right.
Because you could easily grab onto it and be like, I'm gone. So when you mad, but people can't handle that anger they have and they be out of there, man. I don't want to feel like this. I'm gone.
Right. And that's even now I'm trying to, be more present on even social media, because again, we're so quick to run, and it sounds great, you don't deserve, trust, peace be your God, and at the end of the day you still have to go deeper. I'm not saying there's never a time to not be in a relationship, so to speak, and recognize it's whatever what they call toxic or abusive or things of that nature. But if you're saying you're having too many problems, even if you leave, you're gonna run into more problems. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so you're basically saying you're content not being equipped for a relationship, because you're gonna go into, and even if those problems don't look exactly the same, the severity of the feeling will return. And so if you're waiting to get in a relationship with that feeling that says maybe not, if you're waiting on that type of relationship where you never have to like just press through the uncertainty or that little thing that says maybe jump out the plane, you're gonna jump out of every relationship. And that's the unfortunate part of that particular thing that's out there, because we all, life will make you live.
It will, but hey, you gotta be prepared for that, because
but in everything great, right? We talk like running a business. I mean, it looks glamorous. You see the guy or the girl that's like managing it, that looks like they're able to live the lifestyle they want. It's a blessing, but I'm sure all of them had maybe this business ain't gonna work out moment in that business, not just the previous ones they tried, but even in that one, like, oh no, we gonna make it to the next paycheck, next rent, bill, and they stayed with it. And even now, it's not that life is so glamorous, it's that they're disciplined to manage both the business and the lifestyle, so it's sustained, because again, if we had their client base or whatever, their meetings that they had to make right now before we've gotten built up to their point, our business will fail even in that success. And so you want this golden relationship, but it comes with a lot of skills, a lot of responsibilities. And so if you can't build up to that, again, you won't manage it in this part where you're like, my feelings are telling me to leave. It's like you won't be able to sustain even a relationship that's built for health, because you weren't built for it yet.
I know. So I want to go back to when you said you was separated for 2 years. What was the process of getting back together? Like, was it slow communicate? Was it like a period where there was no communication for a while at all, or was it always communication?
I was fortunate in that we kept communication. I mean, we have children together, that helps.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
How the kids? No.
Yeah. Right.
No,
on.
but one thing in that, I was fortunate enough that we still went to like church every Sunday together. You know, so I had to, I had them on the weekends, but also they had to watch them leave every Sunday. So it was a blessing and a curse in that.
Okay.
But that was kind of the balance for those 2 years or whatnot. So like I said, it was interesting, man. At the end of the day, but there was, like I said, there was communication throughout the two, but not necessarily directly about us or anything.
Right.
Like I said, when managing the kids, whatever, it's a blur now. It didn't feel like it then, man. It was some real conversations with God I had during those times. But like I said, the key was, oddly enough, I felt myself growing closer to her, even though she was away, because I made it to be intentional.
Yeah.
And again, instead of focusing on her, whether she was really trying or not, that wasn't gonna help me. People telling me, man, you're doing all that you can do, you should leave now. I'm like, but I don't want to. It's like, I'm not gonna quit. So these are all the kind of convictions I had to have. I've never heard, even to this day, I've never heard her side of that journey for that 2 years. It didn't matter then to me, like now, and really it came to a head or opportunity at the end of the two. Like, I thought after the first year maybe, and it was like, no, we're going a whole nother year. Like, all right, well, all right, let's do this. Let's get it in, But like I said, studying, working on myself, building trust, even in conviction in myself. Like I said, out by myself, I could have did anything I wanted to do. Yeah. But what I focused on was getting that marriage intact. So, it was a journey. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I can't sugarcoat it.
Yeah. So I guess what would be your advice, man? Because people running out, man. They getting in. They think it's what they see. They think it's about, we gonna travel the world together. We gonna be taking pictures everywhere out. Right. But when you go through that, man, and that woman or that man they separated right now, and they trying to see, what advice would you give them?
Man, so we wouldn't have, I don't think we've gotten this far without the right people in our circle, for one. Again, it's same thing like a business person. If you're around people who are afraid to dream, you don't share your dreams with them, right? At the end of the day, if people are in self-preservation, just trying to play it safe, they're gonna talk you out of your relationship, essentially. And they don't mean harm. Again, we all seek safety. It's a natural thing. It's why some people don't go after the business, because there's safety in a 9-to-5. So, and nothing's wrong with a 9-to-5, right? Nothing's wrong with being single. But if you're saying, you got to get around some people who are fighters like you, whether it's classes, or like friends that are, like I said, trust me, if your friends are married, they've had struggles, at the end of the day. So, if that's a trusted friend source where you feel like they are managing it, or actually, get around those particular people. Honestly, my faith sometimes was all I had, and so that's just real. I mean, if you're not spiritual, I feel you're at a disadvantage, because there has to be something more than just in the now. There has to be a purpose. There has to be this real call to accomplish this thing in life through the relationship, especially if you have children. Nothing against single parents, but man, when we do it together, again, I talk about that synergy. We're doing greater things because we're doing it together, and we don't have to work as hard because we're doing it together. So those are advantages I'm still fighting to keep. And so having those perspectives, and also figuring out how not to focus so much on what the other person will do, because we live in our head then. And it's more 90% about what we're imagining than 10% of what's really happening at that point. But when we're focusing on ourselves, we're not managing that 90% control we have. And so all of those things are necessary. I as a relationship coach, I never want to make this look easy, because it's not. But that's why you can celebrate how strong you truly are. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the guy with the muscles. You don't think you can walk in the gym and do this, bruh. And so when you're thriving in your relationship, it's like, I can tell people, don't think you can just walk in because you guys had some experiences and share some memories and y'all are cool people, because y'all are. Don't think you can walk in and have this. I've been intentional. I've been working on this. This isn't an overnight success.
Yeah.
And you don't want it to be, because guess what? That's also now everything that seemed like it was pushing us away is everything now that we're resolved. Why not to run out? I know I'm not just going to walk out and say I can just grab any woman and build this. You know what I'm saying? You can't just walk out and just because this guy got it going on, and you can be 100% sure that you can build this, because this is built on a lot of trial, a lot of testing, a lot of endurance. And so you're building something with someone. And so what you think is your disadvantage is really your advantage. I actually even posted like a tweet. I said, you know, problems are catalysts for growth. You either grow apart or grow together. The problems don't choose for you. You do. You know what I'm saying? So don't hate the problem. Like, use it as a catalyst for growth. You guys, I mean, I pledged or whatever. So we went through and it was like, you know, the craziest thing, and it shouldn't happen, so to speak. But at the same time, it's like, man, when you over that hump, you forget all about the little mess.
Yeah, yeah.
And it happens in a relationship. You can get over the mess and be like, man, we were so tripping.
Yeah. Hey, that's how I be, man. When you in the heat, you like, as soon as I be like,
we were so tripping, man. I'm glad we got through that season. You remember you used to say, man, you was reckless. You was had that attitude, and you all the hurt that you, but you know, you're going through it hurts. But on the other side of it, you just like, man, I'm just glad we got through that little crazy time in our lives, and I'm glad to be able to say I still love you. And that's amazing. And so it's like, have that, don't give that away. You're building that through the trial. It's not trying to prevent, you're actually going through it to build it. Yeah. But if it's like every day a good day, then, you know, like even like God, it's like, you only gonna serve me on the days when things are good. Do we really have a relationship? Yeah. If only when I'm giving you what you say you want, do we really have a relationship? Yeah. And so we got that opportunity. So that's why I said it really starts with that perspective. You think you're in a place where it's showing you that you guys aren't who you said you were, but all you're doing is confirming it by walking through it. And if you can think that way about it and not lean on your own thoughts, like I said, get the help, whether it's a counselor, therapist, classes, confidence and friends that are healthy as well, or all that combined. Don't do it by yourself, but do it. Do the work. And you just like going to the gym every day. Some days I have good workouts, some days I have poor. But I keep going. Yeah. Man, you guys will work out.
Right on, man. So you wrote a book during that time. You got a book called Revelations.
All right. Now, so Revelations is just my because I've always been a love enthusiast. So I wrote that one in college. Okay. I wrote What is Love? During that time, I wrote a book called What is Love? And it was, I went through 1 Corinthians 13. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy. And so it was like, for me, it was like, am I really doing these things? And am I doing them in excellence? And if not, why am I tripping that we're struggling? It's just revealing that I got these things to work on and understand better, you know. And so because even before that, in that particular scripture, it talks about how I can give all my wealth, but if I don't have love, I have nothing. I can give my body as a sacrifice, but if I do not have love for these things, mean nothing. So all this stuff I'm doing, if I don't really understand what love is, these things aren't going to have the power that they're supposed to have in themselves. And so it was like, let me focus on this. Am I patient? What does that look like? All right. Am I kind? Bible says, let kindness define you. Was I kind in those few years? Was I kind when she was pregnant? Well, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm asking myself these questions, and it's like, man, you got so much opportunity. So I wrote that book as help. But it was trying to help me, but seeing how it helped me, it's like I said, now a genuine book that I believe in because it got me there. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Right on, man.
Yeah, so yeah, that's that book there.
Right on,
and then
man.
I actually had opportunity to do it in a marriage class, and this couple came and said, "Man, you need a workbook for it." So the second book was like the third technically because Revelations came first, but that was like now the workbook, and I was like, man, I don't want you to just write out, oh, he said this. It's like, do the workbook. Like, now here's your assignment. Go do this. Go talk about that. Figure this out, you know. So, yeah, man, I in my own struggle became a passion to help others out. And that's why, you know, doing that thing.
Right on, man. So what's next? What's coming for BJ O'Neal, man? What you cooking?
Man, so few things. So, like you, man, I tend to carve out some content while I, talk about this consistently. And I'll be, I've become this super vulnerable person, realizing I am who I am. I still deal with insecurities, but at the end of the day, I don't want worried about what people will think and what others have to say, and not get this information out. So I'm inspired by people like you who've done this consistently, right?
Yeah.
Like, we talk offline before this, and even that success hasn't come without nothing
right
happening
on,
in those
yeah.
moments. You had to keep doing it anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm inspired by people like you to just put it out there, and so that's coming. Working on my fifth book. The fourth book is called Everybody Should Get Laid. Is love, admired, inspired, and desired.
Yeah.
If you can keep those things in front of your relationship, making sure you are communicating how you love them, how you admire them, how you're inspired by them, and how you desire them, not just physically, that you kind of keep the opportunity to get a wedge to be created in that void and so forth. So this next one is about the heart, because the condition of the heart tells us how well we're equipped to love. At the end of the day, if it's hard, if it's broken, if it's selfish, there's a lot of natures in it that really prevent us from being selflessly in love with someone. And so the key is not to demonize ourselves, but to recognize it and go through whatever transition so that we are able to give love and properly receive it. So that's the current project that's being on. So.
And you can find all your books on Amazon?
Yeah, Amazon. Except for this heart one. It's still in the making. But all the other four,
Under BJ O'Neal. BJ O'Neal.
Yeah.
So relationship coach, author, BJ O'Neal, man. Thank you for coming through today, man.
We have this session as often as you want, man.
Yeah, already, man.
Love it. Talking about it keeps us accountable.
Yeah, man. So it was so much. I'm gonna go back and when I start editing, I'm gonna listen to it, like, man, because it was so you was in there dropping, man. I just had to focus and make sure I was locked in on you, man. Yes, man. Appreciate you coming through, man.
Hey, man. I enjoyed the BeatStreet today, man. Appreciate you having me, man.
Already, y'all. Yeah. Hey, y'all, appreciate y'all tuning in, man. It's your man Quincy Whetstone, aka Q Stone, and thank y'all for tuning in to this episode of the BeatStreet Podcast. Already.